Let me ask you this, because I've been thinking about this a lot recently. If Joe Biden becomes the next president, do you think it will help the cause for a third party, for a new party?
Yeah, I think if Joe Biden becomes the next president, I think that will actually hurt the progressive movement. And I think it will hurt a third party reasoning, because it will give hope, false hope in the Democratic Party. They will frame it as, see, we won with a moderate. We won with somebody like that. We wouldn't have won with a socialist. A lot of people who were just getting into the political movement, who were starting to wake up, would be like, well, at least we got rid of Donald Trump. There will be an urge to return to normalcy and to just go back to brunch, so to speak. And I think a lot of that, like, anger that is so easily built up against Trump, because Trump is a very hateable guy. I mean, he's just, look, everything about him, the way he talks, etc., it makes him a really easy target for people to get behind and rally at, versus Joe Biden. Like, it's almost like people just look at him like, what are you doing? Like, it's a different kind of like,
it's a different kind of enemy.
Yeah, he's a different kind of enemy. It's harder to really point to what he's done, even though for us as progressives, we know, you just listed everything he's done. But like, for the vast majority of people, he's going to talk better. He's going to be more civil. And so I think a lot of that would hurt the progressive movement, because we wouldn't be able to build more people into our movement. Versus if Donald Trump were president, people are going to be that like, we're angry. We have to go to the White House. We have to march. People are saying that, oh, well, if Joe Biden still got in there, I would go protest and hold him accountable, and we can hold his feet to the fire better. But it's like, can you? When he's still getting this lobbyist money, he's really responding to his donors and Wall Street. He's not responding to the people. So how can you hold his feet to the fire more if you're not out there really hardcore protesting Joe Biden? And I just do not see the progressive movement really coming out. I see a Joe Biden win as driving more people into the party to try to reform it, rather than focusing on building out. And that's what I see even now. Like, we have all these great progressive organizers, and a lot of them are stuck trying to reform the party. And like I said, like, I'm not saying don't have any progressives in the Democratic Party, but what I'm saying is we need to focus on building outside cadres, and also the direct action, because that's where our party is at. We need to seize the moment and actually do that, because people are hurting, and it's going to get worse. We are going to see evictions. We are going to see more unemployment. We aren't seeing people get anything right now. And so it is a moment to seize. And I just don't think Joe Biden is going to push progressives and people in general, beyond progressives, to further rebel against the status quo. I think in Trump, in the one good thing he's done for our movement, is shown the ugliness of America, the ugliness of why we have Donald Trump. I think he's the president we deserve, in a sense of, he is a reality TV star that pretty much codifies everything that America is, overly rich, overly, like, everything, just this opulence of bullshit that is just the one percenters. And he's our president, and we have to deal with that. And a lot of people don't like him because they don't want to see what he represents. And it's the ugliness in America, and it's the late stage capitalism that's falling apart, and it's inverting in itself. And so I think, at the very least, all of the masks have fallen with Donald Trump. We have seen everything more clearly, and not just the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party, how ineffective they are, how they're not an opposition party.
See, I don't think enough people see that, though. That's the one, and I actually think, and I think, like what you just said is totally spot on, as far as like what kind of president Biden would be, and what kind of president Trump is, the lessons that society has learned from that. The one, like, kind of, other side of that coin, is that I think a lot of people, they do entertain this idea that, like, oh, Joe Biden he'll hear us out. He's giving us an olive branch. He isn't. He really isn't.
Right.
And I think more people need to see that. And I think, like, one silver lining, if a Joe Biden does become the next president, I actually think more people will see that when he doesn't give that olive branch. And I actually think more people are going to be open to the idea of a new party if they really see firsthand, okay, we got rid of the orange boogeyman and nothing's getting better. And I don't see people going back to sleep like they did in 08. I just don't see it happening. Will some people do it? Absolutely. The Alyssa Milanas of the world will go back to brunch. But that's fine because they weren't really part of any movement anyway. Right. There's a certain percentage, and it's, let's be honest, it's rich people. This is a class thing. It's the richest of the rich. And you and I see a lot of that firsthand because we live in the Los Angeles area. We see a lot of the celebrity faux activism and all that nonsense. They just want somebody with a D next to their name to talk nicer because it's easier to explain to their kids while they're watching TV or something like that. That's all they want because they're rich and they have no idea what regular people go through. Those people will go back to brunch. I say that's fine because those people weren't doing anything anyway, other than shaming people to their left and saying very obvious things about people to their right. So whatever. But I do think that a lot of people who want true systemic change, but haven't quite reconciled the fact that it takes a faction outside of the duopoly to get there, I think that if they see a Joe Biden presidency, they'll just have an awakening to that. It's almost like Trump was the awakening that the system's a big problem. Biden could be the awakening that, oh, the system's a big problem, and that includes the Democrats too. It's both of them because it's the money party at the end of the day.
No, I see your point.
That's one silver lining I see.
I see your point, and that could also happen. But I also see the Democratic Party jumping and saying, "Yay, we defeated." The fascists, and look at what Joe Biden's doing, giving you some scraps, maintaining people in the power. So it could go either way. I agree. We neither of us really know.
No, neither of us really know, and we're just discussing it because we both know like it's just going to be an enemy. It's a different kind of enemy, and it's like you need to kind of see, well, what silver linings could help out politically, what silver linings could help out strategically, because again, I mean, you voiced the other side of it very, very well, where it's like, okay, centrism's fine. And then we can project a little further. What could potentially happen? Well, Biden's going to have a very underwhelming 4 years, probably even more underwhelming than Obama. And in 4 years, the GOP is going to have a more dangerous, more competent Trump in the lurk. And that more dangerous, more competent Trump would probably win against whoever the Democratic nominee is. It would presumably be Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors going here.
The scenarios don't look great on either end.
Well, I'm going to be bummed out in November no matter what. Yeah. It's just about, okay, how can we mobilize no matter what happens and where are the silver linings, depending on what happens one way or another. And I don't have a straight up answer for that yet. I think it's hard to have one answer for that yet. But it's interesting.
It's worth the discussion.
It's worth the discussion. It's worth the discussion. And it is something. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. An article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and